The popularity of the Tampa Bay area has exploded since the pandemic. Here are the pros and cons of living in the Tampa Bay area. Hi, I'm Mark from the Fazzini Group. We make these videos for you to help you make better decisions on where to live or move to in the Tampa Bay area. We've helped lots of clients make their final destination move, and usually it does not end up being where they thought they would want to live in the beginning. So our team would love to hear from you. If we can help guide you in any way, we're happy to do it. Just reach out to us by phone or email. Okay, let's start with the cons. The first con about living in Tampa is the traffic. So if you're coming from a place, a really big city or somewhere with terrible traffic, you might not think that the traffic in Tampa is that bad. But I will say, if you're traveling into the downtown area or you're traveling pretty much anywhere during rush hour times, you're going to have some traffic to deal with, and that's going to make your commute much longer, or just your general moving around the city or suburbs take a lot longer than you plan. Another thing about the traffic, we do have a really big tourist population and snowbird population that comes down during the winter months, and the areas tend to get a little bit more busy, so you will find that there's a lot of people on the roads and there can be a lot of traffic. The next reason is the bugs. So if you're coming from up north, we have a lot of different bugs down in Florida that you might not have seen before. Mosquitoes outside during the summer months can be a little bit of a pain. In general, it doesn't bother most people, but if you're not used to it, you're probably going to be a little bit shocked by the bugs that we have here. And I might be glossing over that a little bit. I don't get bit by mosquitoes that much, but my wife, whenever we go anywhere outside, she tends to come back home with several mosquito bites. Of course, you have bug spray, you have different things, but it is something to consider when you're moving to the Tampa Bay area. So the next con is the weather. So this kind of is on both sides of the pros and cons list, but in the summertime, the weather does get very hot in the Tampa Bay area, especially if you're coming from up north. You might not be used to that. So there are certain months in the summer where it is very, very hot and you might not like to be outside, or you can only go outside for so long before it's kind of unbearable. This will be on the pro list as well, as many of you know, but it is a con because a lot of people don't feel like they can do as much during the summer months when it's really hot outside. Another con about living in the Tampa Bay area is there's really no mass transit system. So if you're coming from a big city, that's going to be a little bit of a shocker for you, but it's very car dependent. There's no subway system or train system that will get you quickly to one area or another around the city. So you're going to have to rely on cars. Some areas are very walkable, which is great, but it is a con to not have a great transit system. The final con about living in Tampa is that wages are a bit low. So low pay is a concern for many people. I would say that the big cities like New York and Chicago, you're going to have jobs, let's say in finance, that are going to pay really well. And the job down in the Tampa Bay area might be 60% of that. There's some benefits, of course, about living in Florida with tax advantages and things like that. But in general, we have lower pay. You definitely want to make sure you have a job in place when you're considering relocating down here, especially with the housing prices and affordability. You just have to make sure that you have a good job in place, or you're right on the cusp of that, because wages tend to be a bit lower. Okay, now to the pros. The pros of living in the Tampa Bay area. So there are a lot of pros. Number one, I would say, is the weather. So we are here. It's the month of February. The weather is beautiful outside. If you're up north, you might be shoveling snow. You might be in a very cold climate. That's one of the top pros about living in the Tampa Bay area, is the weather. We do get hot during the summers, as I mentioned, but it's one place where you can golf year round, you can enjoy the outside year round, and that is probably the number one reason we find our clients relocating to the area. My family and I just came back from Colorado. We were out there a couple weeks ago doing some skiing, and by about the 5th day, my kids were like, "Oh my gosh, I'm tired of the snow. It's freezing. I want to get back to the sand and beaches of home." And although we loved it up there, it was so great to get back to our weather here in the Tampa Bay area. The next pro is no state income tax in the Tampa Bay area. So if you're coming from another state, you're probably used to paying state income tax. So although the wages are a little bit lower in the Tampa Bay area, you will have a little offset if you're not having to pay state income tax. And that could be anywhere, 7% savings on your annual income that you aren't having to pay. So that's a really big benefit, and why a lot of people choose Florida or the Tampa Bay area as their destination. Okay, another pro is the diversity we have in the Tampa Bay area. So we always joke with our clients that we have this big melting pot of people in our area because they come and travel from all over the country. And we have a lot of people from Michigan and Ohio and New York and even California, but we find that that brings all sorts of different people and different personalities and different perspectives. Me, myself, I was born in Michigan, and when I was just 3 years old, my family moved down to the area with other family members to get away from the cold. And we have so many other folks that are from that Michigan area that we bond with. And then we meet people from New York and other areas and get different perspectives and different personalities. I just think that's a really neat thing and unique to the Tampa Bay area. Another pro about living in the Tampa Bay area is all of the free and fun activities. So Tampa and the general area has great beaches, great parks, many different places that you can go and enjoy free of charge. So whether that's going on a trail, going on a hike, exploring parks and beaches, you're always going to have something to do in the outdoors in the Tampa Bay area, really close by where you live. And that's a really special thing because you don't have to pay for those activities. They're some of the best bonding experiences you can have with friends or family, and they're right at your fingertips. So, all right, another pro of living in the Tampa Bay area is the sports teams. So we have amazing sports teams. The Super Bowl champ, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the Tampa Bay Lightning, multiple Stanley Cup championships. We also have the Tampa Bay Rays. All three of those teams are really fun to support. They have each done a really great job making a great environment at the stadiums to enjoy sporting events. And, they are actually really well rated. Like our Bucks and Lightning are always in the contention for championships lately. So it's really fun. You've probably heard the joke, Tampa Bay. We really love our sports here, and there's no shortage of fun and excitement around baseball, football, or hockey. And the final pro of living in the Tampa Bay area is you can find neighborhood vibes very easily. So if you're looking for the suburban neighborhood or the family-friendly neighborhood, even though Tampa is a really big city, there's so many options for great suburban areas and great neighborhoods with little parks and community events. And you'll find those all throughout the Tampa Bay area. And we can definitely help you find those because we usually live in them and specialize in those areas ourselves. So there's no shortage of family-friendly neighborhoods and suburban spots. So if you've watched this video to the end, you're probably looking at buying a property in the Tampa Bay area. Our team has helped over 2,500 people in the last 25 years buy and sell in the area. We'd be happy to guide you, whether you just need good vendors, a good idea of where to start. Tell us what you're looking for. Please reach out to us. We'd be so happy to help guide you. You can call, text, or email us, and we would love to hear from you today.